Taylor Swift's legal counsel has publicly rejected recent assertions that she has agreed to provide evidence in the escalating legal confrontation between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, who directed and starred with Lively in It Ends With Us. As the dispute continues to generate headlines, Lively has brought a lawsuit against Baldoni, accusing him of sexual harassment and orchestrating a campaign to destroy her reputation, while Swift's involvement has been the subject of intense speculation. In a letter submitted on Friday and obtained by US Weekly, Swift's attorney clarified their position, stating, "As counsel for the parties know, since the inception of this matter, we have consistently maintained that my client has no material role in this action." The letter continued, "Further, my client did not agree to a deposition, but if she is forced into a deposition, we advised, after first hearing about the deposition just 3 days ago, that her schedule would accommodate the time required during the week of October 20th if the parties were able to work out their disputes." Swift's legal team emphasized, "We take no role in those disputes." The denial directly addressed court filings by Baldoni's lawyers, who had asked for an extension of the discovery period to allow for Swift's deposition during the week of October 20th, citing her professional obligations. Baldoni's legal representatives had claimed Swift, whose new album, The Life of a Showgirl, will be released October 3rd, has agreed to appear for deposition but is unable to do so before October 20th, 2025. Lively's side quickly countered, with her attorney dismissing the suggestion that Swift had agreed to the deposition and stating in documents filed Friday that Baldoni's team's assertion was without evidence. Lively's attorney argued, "Even if one were to take the Wayfarer defendant's representation at face value, they have not come close to establishing good cause for their requested relief." Subscribe for the latest celebrity legal news and exclusive court updates. The dispute over Swift's possible testimony comes amid a broader legal and media firestorm surrounding the It Ends With Us production, with Lively's accusations against Baldoni drawing widespread attention. Lively's lawsuit claims Baldoni subjected her to sexual harassment during the making of the film and later engaged in actions designed to ruin her reputation, allegations Baldoni has denied. As the two sides sparred in court, Swift's name emerged in filings from Baldoni's legal team, who insisted that her testimony was necessary and relevant to the case, citing text messages and communications believed to be of importance. Swift's lawyers, however, reiterated that the singer had no substantive connection to the matter and only agreed to appear for a deposition if required by the court, and only within the narrow window of availability after her album release and promotional duties. The legal wrangling intensified when Baldoni's team requested a 30-day extension of the discovery deadline, arguing that the time was needed specifically to accommodate Swift's schedule and secure her deposition. Swift's legal representatives underscored in their letter that while her schedule could permit such a deposition during the week of October 20th, this arrangement was in no way a voluntary agreement to participate and was contingent only on court order. Lively's legal counsel, meanwhile, submitted their own documents refuting the claim that Swift had willingly agreed to testify, warning the court that Baldoni's side was mischaracterizing the facts and lacked sufficient grounds for their request. Subscribe for more breaking updates on Hollywood court battles and the stories behind the headlines. The ongoing dispute has drawn national attention not only due to the high-profile nature of those involved, but also because of the tangled relationships and timing, with Swift's new music era coinciding with the peak of legal developments in the case. Swift's team has maintained throughout the proceedings that their client should not be drawn into a dispute in which she has no meaningful or material involvement, despite the best efforts of Baldoni's legal team to secure her appearance. As the court weighs the competing requests and arguments, the public and media continue to watch closely, eager to see whether Swift's testimony will ultimately be required and what implications it might have for the future of the case. Lively's legal team has remained adamant that Baldoni's efforts to involve Swift are a diversionary tactic, lacking in legal merit and unsupported by the evidence presented thus far. For her part, Swift has kept a low profile, focusing on her upcoming album The Life of a Showgirl, which is set to release on October 3rd, while her attorneys handle the mounting legal correspondence and deadlines. The contested deposition, if it occurs, is now scheduled for late October, with all parties awaiting the judge's ruling on whether the extension will be granted, and what role Swift will ultimately play in the ongoing legal drama. Subscribe to stay informed on every development in this blockbuster Hollywood case, and for more insights into the intersection of celebrity, law, and entertainment. As the legal teams for Lively, Baldoni, and Swift continue to file motions and statements, the outcome remains uncertain, with the judge's decision expected to shape not only the next phase of the lawsuit, but also the broader conversation around celebrity testimony, privacy, and the pressures of public life. The world will be watching as this complex legal battle unfolds and as Swift's formal involvement, if any, is determined by the court in the weeks to come. Taylor Swift's name has surfaced yet again in the intensifying legal dispute between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, a battle that initially stemmed from their work together on It Ends With Us and has since spiraled into one of Hollywood's most closely watched lawsuits, drawing in headlines and the attention of fans worldwide. What began as allegations between two stars over the troubled production has now seen one of pop music's biggest icons pulled into the fray, with legal teams on both sides sparring over whether Swift should be forced to testify. Recently, Judge Lewis Liman issued a decisive ruling that set the tone for the next phase of the case, denying a last-minute request from Baldoni's attorneys to extend the discovery period specifically to allow Swift's deposition to go forward. In his written decision, Judge Liman admonished Baldoni's lawyers for acting at the 11th hour and criticized their lack of diligence, noting that the attorneys had failed to move in a timely manner despite knowing Swift's busy schedule and upcoming album release, The Life of a Showgirl, for weeks. Baldoni's legal team had contended that Swift had agreed to testify but was unable to do so before late October due to her pre-existing professional commitments, including the global rollout of her new album. Subscribe to stay updated on the latest from high-stakes celebrity trials and Hollywood legal news. Swift's attorneys, however, strongly refuted those claims, making it clear in court filings and public statements that at no point had she voluntarily consented to a deposition. Instead, her legal team explained, Swift had merely indicated she would comply if compelled by court order and only during the narrow window after her album promotion obligations, insisting from the outset that she had no material role in the dispute between Lively and Baldoni. Lively's lawyers, meanwhile, argued that Baldoni's camp had intentionally sought to exploit Swift's star power in order to generate a media spectacle, insisting her connection to the actual facts of the case was minimal. According to court filings, they maintained that Swift's involvement was limited to licensing a single song for the It Ends With Us soundtrack, and that Baldoni's legal team had deliberately exaggerated the extent of her connection in an effort to draw headlines and sway public opinion. The judge's decision to deny the extension was seen as a rebuke of this strategy, with Liman underscoring that last-minute legal maneuvers and attempts to leverage celebrity status would not sway the court's focus on the actual legal merits. For Baldoni, the setback came as part of a larger pattern of defeats in the ongoing litigation. His $400 million countersuit against Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, has already been dismissed, further narrowing his options as he faces Lively's ongoing sexual harassment and retaliation claims. The legal battle has been marked by a series of aggressive filings and public statements from both sides, with Lively's team seeking to hold Baldoni accountable for what they describe as a pattern of misconduct on set and a campaign to damage her reputation following her decision to speak out. Subscribe for more exclusive insights into celebrity lawsuits and the latest developments in high-profile court cases. As the dust settles around Swift's potential deposition, the judge's ruling appears for now to shield her from being further dragged into the proceedings, at least in any substantive way. Swift, who has been focused on her music and personal milestones, including the highly anticipated release of The Life of a Showgirl, has kept her distance from the legal spectacle, leaving the matter in the hands of her attorneys. Lively's legal team has expressed relief at the court's decision, reiterating that the focus should remain on the core allegations and not be sidetracked by efforts to involve unrelated third parties simply for their celebrity value. In the wake of the ruling, legal experts have commented that Judge Liman's decision sends a clear message regarding the use of celebrity testimony and the importance of sticking to the facts at hand, a point echoed by both Swift's and Lively's attorneys in their public remarks. As the case continues, the core dispute between Lively and Baldoni remains unresolved, with Lively's claims of sexual harassment and retaliation still moving through the courts, while Baldoni's attempts to counter with large-scale defamation and damages actions have so far failed to gain traction. The story has captivated Hollywood insiders and the public alike, not only for its star-studded cast of characters, but for the broader questions it raises about workplace culture, power dynamics, and the intersection of fame and the legal system. Subscribe for the most in-depth analysis on celebrity court cases, legal strategies, and the fallout from Hollywood disputes. With Swift now out of the immediate legal spotlight, at least for the time being, all eyes remain on Lively and Baldoni as their legal teams prepare for the next round in what promises to be a long, contentious battle. As the judge's decision takes effect, Swift's role is expected to diminish, allowing her to return to her artistic and personal pursuits without the cloud of a high-profile deposition hanging over her. The court's ruling not only clarifies Swift's position, but also reinforces the standard that celebrity status alone is not grounds for legal involvement, setting a precedent for future cases involving public figures drawn into litigation by association rather than direct action. For now, the legal drama continues without Swift on the witness list, and the attention turns back to the unresolved core of the case, as Hollywood and the world watch to see what twists and turns lie ahead in the ongoing dispute between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.